And it's hard to believe, but it was 30 years ago this year that the Holiday Bowl had one of its most memorable moments. And it was the fact that BYU played Michigan, finished their season with the win, 13-0, and became the national champions of the college football universe, if you will. And joining us on the program now, we have the defensive MVP from the BYU Cougars, and in that game, Leon White. Leon, welcome to the program. You're on with Mark Neville and Bruce Pinkowski.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us. You know, it's hard to believe it was 30 years ago, but when you look back at that game, Leon, what comes to mind?
Oh, so many things come to mind. That whole year was a really special year for, BYU and the fans, and ended up being the greatest season that I've ever played in for many reasons.
Leon, it's interesting. You went to Helix High School, and you played there, and obviously you went away to school. What was it like to, all of a sudden, for 3 years in a row, 1982, 83, and 84, you get to come back to San Diego, play on the Qualcomm Stadium turf, or San Diego Stadium in those days, and play in front of the hometown fans? That must have been pretty cool.
Oh, that was a thrill. That was the plan. That's why I went to BYU. I knew I'd come back and have a chance to play in San Diego in a bowl game. So that was one of the selling points that Lavelle Edwards gave to me when he was recruiting me.
See, in those days, it was the champion of the Western Athletic Conference would come to the Holiday Bowl. And when we started it, we didn't realize that BYU would win the championship year after year after year. Lavelle knew, your coach knew, but and so BYU came every year. Let's go to that 84 game for a second now. You were the defensive MVP, and usually when BYU played in not only a bowl game anywhere, defense usually wasn't the big thing there because so many points were scored. What was it like to play defense against Michigan that night on the stadium turf?
Well, we knew we had a big challenge ahead of us. Michigan was a team that ran the ball really well, and they were big up front, and we knew we had to do well with our front seven. So it was a big challenge for me and my linebacker and defensive line friends. But, we were really excited about that challenge. Of course, Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback, and we knew that he was going to be, going after taking away our national championship hopes. So it was very exciting.
Leon, I'm curious what the mindset was of your football team coming into that game. I know there were many that wanted to play in the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma. You guys were number 1. Oklahoma was number 2. And you guys, because of that contract that we talked about, you were to play in the Holiday Bowl. You're playing against a 6-5 Michigan team. What was the mindset? Was there any disappointment at all?
No, not really. I think everybody was just excited to be in that position. We knew that with a win, we were probably the front runner for being the national champions. And of course, I was very excited about coming back to San Diego and playing such a big game. Not only to win the national championship, but my father was stricken with cancer, and he was diagnosed just before the season started. So I knew that was going to be the last game that he had a chance to see me play, so I was really, really excited about coming back to San Diego to play in front of him.
You're listening to Bowl Game Radio. I'm Bruce Pinkowski along with Mark Neville, and we're speaking with Leon White, who played for the BYU Cougars in the early 80s and was the Holiday Bowl Defensive Most Valuable Player in 1984, the year BYU won the national championship game right here in San Diego, beating Michigan. Leon, I was the young PR guy in those days for the Holiday Bowl, and I remember that night when your dad was on the sidelines, and I remember it was quite an emotional night for you, and you told the media, quote, "You wanted to play the best game for my dad. Not only did you play the best game, you were named the MVP." What did you and your dad talk about after the game that night?
Oh, gosh. I remember between plays, I would come to the sidelines and just conversate with him, and he was just so excited to be there. Because I remember when we first found out that he had cancer, he was really excited about the opportunity to be able to come to the game and be able to see me firsthand. So we just talked about me doing well, not giving up, doing the best I could, and that definitely inspired me to have the game that I did.
And what was really cool that he was able to be down on the field so you could actually speak with him during the game. So, sometimes the stars align just the right way, and they did that night for Leon White and his family.
You had quite a game there, Leon, too. 7 unassisted tackles, 2 sacks on your way to the defensive MVP honors. I should also say, Bruce, that Leon is in the San Diego Bowl Game Association Hall of Fame.
Just for that night, that performance made you a Bowl Hall of Famer. Leon, we've been talking defense and your game, but a lot of people who were there that night when BYU defeated Michigan 24-17 and eventually was named the national champion. Robbie Bosco was your quarterback, and in the first quarter, Robbie Bosco got hurt. They had to carry him off the field. And do you remember the moment when in the second quarter he came kind of hobbling out and got back on the field as a team? What did that mean to the BYU Cougars as a team that night?
Well, it was kind of scary, really, because we knew that the Michigan defense, seeing him hobble on the field, they were going to be pressuring him even more. But it really did inspire us. We knew that Robbie was hurt pretty seriously, and him coming back and wanting to contribute to the team and help us win that game was really an inspirational time for us. And I think it took us over the top and definitely helped us. And
he scored. He threw 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter to give BYU a 24-17 win, and the winning score was only with 1:23 remaining in the game. And
typical Holiday Bowl finish.
Typical. And remember, in those days, no overtime. That game could have ended up in a tie. Had it ended up in a tie, maybe BYU would not have been the national champion. It's just one of those things.
That's true. I think if it would have been a tie, we probably would have lost the national championship.
Yeah.
They were looking for any way to take that national championship away from us, and that would have been the reason.
You know, it's interesting, Leon, you mentioned that, because in 1984, it was a controversy that BYU won the national championship because they were talking about strength of schedule and they only beat a 6-5 team to win, go undefeated. Then when the BCS came along, there was controversy. Now with the college football player, it's going to be controversy. I don't think we're ever going to make anybody really happy when somebody is named number one unless they go undefeated and have the toughest schedule in the world.
That's true. It's always going to be a controversial call whether a team should be ranked as high as it is or whether they should deserve a national championship. And like you said, it's definitely not going to change regardless of the bowls that they play in. So, but I am glad to see that they do have a playoff system now. It does make it a little easier to take some of the national champion winners that we have.
You're listening to Bowl Game Radio. I'm Mark Neville along with Bruce Pinkowski, and we're talking to 1984 defensive MVP Leon White. Leon, we're going to turn this into our Where Are They Now segment. Where are you now?
I am here in San Diego raising my family. I have 2 kids, both in college, trying to get them through college now. My daughter's at UC Santa Barbara, and my son just graduated from state, and he's looking to go to grad school now. So that's definitely keeping me busy. I've been mentoring here in San Diego kids for 20 years now. That's really my passion. I love to work with kids and try to keep them out of trouble as much as possible.
And we would be remiss if we also didn't say that Leon White played 8 years in the National Football League, Cincinnati Bengals, the Los Angeles Rams. So college football, pro football has been, safe to say, has been your life, right, Leon?
Definitely. I've had a lot of great opportunities through football, and it's a great sport. And what the San Diego community has to offer is one of the best football areas, I think, in the country, and I'm definitely proud to be from here.
And are you still engaged with the BYU football program?
Definitely. I try to get out there as much as possible. I was at the Virginia game this year, and we have our 30th reunion coming up. We're going to have it in January, so we're going to be there celebrating our 30 years since we won the national championship.
It was a great time. In fact, I have my notes here somewhere. The media coverage for that game was unprecedented. We had major media from all over the country. And did you ever experience anything, as we begin to wrap this up, did you ever experience anything, Leon, like the media coverage that BYU got in 1984?
The closest thing that would come to that would be when I played in the Super Bowl in 1989. That was a pretty amazing time, and the media was pretty similar. There were a lot of people around from all over the world, and it was an exciting time.
I can tell you, as the PR guy back in '84, it was unbelievable the amount of national media that came to watch BYU win the national championship and watch Leon White win the most valuable player, defensive most valuable player award in the 1984 Holiday Bowl as BYU beat Michigan 24-17. Leon, thanks for joining us on Bowl Game Radio. Appreciate it, and glad you're still living right here in San Diego.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Good talking to you, and say hello to Ted Tollner when you talk to him.
Well, actually, Ted told us that he helped recruit you to get to BYU, so we'll absolutely say hi for him. All right.
Sure did.
Good deal.